I think the first thing to note about this crisis is that it has no parallel really in the UK since 1939-45, since the Second World War, and indeed it's intriguing to note that government and others are using the language of war, the NHS being a front line, people being called up, invisible enemy and so on, as a way of galvanising public support during the early days of this crisis. Of course, there have been challenges, not least of which is the lockdown, the fact that people are having civil liberties denied at a remarkable scale, a way that didn't actually happen during World War II in the UK. And as a result of that, there's been some criticism, particularly by Lord Sumption, the former Supreme Court judge, about the way the police have used their powers. But in fairness to the police, they are of course feeling their way early on in this. All of this raises the issue, I think, for Parliament and therefore for the opposition parties about how they play a role in scrutinising not just the civil liberties aspect of all of this, but separately the government's performance in delivering equipment and so on, and indeed testing equipment for the NHS. So there's a big range of issues there. Of course, inevitably, the trade-off that's being made here by the UK government and others is that the hit to the economy because of the close down, the lockdown, is worth it because of the public health benefits. I think that will be studied for many years to come, whether this was a judgment correctly made. Some countries, Sweden famously, are going down a rather different path, but that is something I think that will be of profound interest in years to come. And then, of course, another challenge is each country for its own approach to all of this. Very little multilateral action so far. That might change. But again, I think looking forward from here, that weakness will have to be considered. And last but not least, Brexit hasn't gone away. And this, of course, is going to be a big issue. Is Brexit going to be temporarily, the end of the transition period, temporarily suspended? The government says not. Others think it will be. And that, obviously, and all these issues will be discussed by me and by colleagues in future.